After many, many, many very anxious months that Marcus was spending time at Royal Hospital Road, he's finally got what he's always asked for. His own 14-table dining room. So there's no more frustration at Royal Hospital Road. Here he is, smack bang in the heart of St James, where you belong. It's every cook's dream, it certainly was my dream, of course, when I came back from Paris, to have 14 tables. And 14 tables is controllable, and it's right smack bang in the heart of St James. It was a previous bank beforehand, and so creating a bank into a stunning fine dining eatery is not easy. But yeah, we've arrived now, 6 weeks down the line. It's going very well.
It's going very well.
You're extremely busy.
Yep, that's some good publicity.
So far, so good. And come on. I mean, you'd much rather be here than back with me in Royal Hospital Road, surely.
True, I would.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Any day.
But, I mean, it hasn't been easy. It's been a long wait. It's something that took time to get together. We finally made it in the end. Opening a restaurant is probably the most difficult thing I think anyone could wish to do.
Sure.
Getting your standards and getting everything to the way you want it.
And turning the cogs.
Yeah, and trying to get everyone to do what you want to do, because your own ideas are in your own head, and getting it into your staff, your managers, your waiters, your chefs is a job on its own, and
Sure.
it's quite a difficult task, especially when there's so many new members of staff actually working with you. But we've done very well. It's been a nice, gradual, slow process of building the restaurant. There's nothing being rushed, and the customers have flowed freely through the door. A lot of thought has actually gone into the menu. I've had quite a lot of time out of my last kitchen and working from Gordon's kitchen, getting ready for this sort of project. I've had a lot of time to look and to think and to read and to eat out and to go abroad and see new, interesting, exciting things, and to put my own ideas together. I think that's what I've tried to do, and come up with something nothing too different, nothing too difficult, but just trying to get the concept right that people are going to enjoy, and the food that I enjoy cooking. I think that's the most important.
It's fascinating in such a short period of time already, 6 weeks down the line, that I think you've already established some really hallmark classics of dishes that, you know, like everyone talking about the ravioli of quail.
It's a quail ravioli with a wild mushroom duck cell, and lightly bound together with chicken mousse and herbs. Quails are slightly blanched 1 minute beforehand, so it's cooked. It's nicely cooked.
No matter, and I'm sure Marcus has got all this to understand, just like I had to, very early on. No matter how good your food is, if you've got beignets, or in England as we know them, donuts. Upstairs serving it, forget it.
It is difficult, and I was very fortunate that actually I've got a restaurant manager that has worked with Gordon for 2 years, who's got his own standards and sets his standards very high.
Sure.
And he passes that through. I have every trust in him.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how many commies have you actually gone through now carrying trays? Because I heard a rumour in Chelsea that 5 start on Monday and 6 leave you on Friday. Is that right?
It's looking that way, yeah.
I think you beat my record.
Yeah, but, yeah. Speechless again. I've got certain members of staff downstairs in my kitchen that have worked with me before. Have either worked with me at L'Orangerie or has worked with Gordon, or I know from other restaurants that I've been in, or kitchens that I've been in. So they're with me downstairs, they understand what I want, and they make my life just that little bit easier because they know the standard at which I'm setting. Where upstairs in the dining room I've only got Christophe, and he's the only one. He's a man on his own with a completely new brigade who is trying to do exactly the same but finding it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's just so nice to see and refreshing to see, especially in restaurants of this standard, that Marcus actually has a female sous chef. She's been with myself for 2 years. She's been with Marcus for 2 years.
She understands my needs. She knows what I want on the plate.
Yep.
She dresses probably 65–70% of my plates.
Brilliant.
And she does them to a very high standard. That's Angela. I've also got other members of staff. Madeline, who's also worked with you.
Sure.
Howell, who's worked with me for 2 years previously.
Yep.
Matthew, also.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Also, you know, there's one other one, I mean, upstairs, Saeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
The barman who has worked with me before.
Naming a restaurant is not easy. Of course, I always said to Marcus, call it Marcus Waring. And he said, no, I'm never going to call this restaurant Marcus Waring until I get 2 Michelin stars. And then we sat talking about this wonderful wine called Petrus. It has one of the most rated chateaux in France, with this little hut in comparison to all the big famous houses.
It's like a house in the field, isn't it?
It's a house, and they produce tremendous wine, very small amounts every year, and it oozes quality. Later on, I'll be cooking some beautiful pheasant with creamy cabbage. But now, Angela and Marcus are back off to Allen's to catch some really stunning birds. And they're two-legged.
Right, we're going to start off with a pheasant. That's a hen pheasant.
How can you tell?
Well, it's spurs. You can tell why there's no spurs.
Have you clipped those?
Yeah, we take the toes off.
Take them off.
But we normally...
There's general size difference as well, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, some people prefer the hen bird, some prefer the cock.
Is there a difference in taste? No.
These are normally a bit more fattier, so they're normally a bit more greasier, I find, you know.
Yeah.
But they're both, you know, like Connaught prefers these, Mezzos prefer the large cocks, and he wants them like a kilo bird.
The bird that size, you can go at least one breast per portion.
Yeah.
That one's a little bit... Well, no, they're still quite a nice size, aren't
That
they?
is a good, well, I picked it out, that's why. But a lot of the time, you've got a little spur like that.
Yeah.
That's,
Break it off.
well, you can.
They not have them female ones, no?
No, females
No?
don't. That's, if the spurs are about here and right sharp, then you know it's an old cock.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
and
really?
we use that for casserole.
So that's the way of telling?
Yeah,
So it's going to be quite...
small stubby foot spur like that, it's a nice young cock.
That's going to be quite tough then, in a sense.
No, this is going to be nice and
that'll be
tender.
nice and tender.
Yeah. It's when they get the spurs right out
Long.
there.
It shows it's
Really
long.
long, yeah, and they're really pointed and
I
sharp.
see, yeah.
And that's the end.
I love it.
Then we go on to wild ducks.
What's the difference there again?
Well, I couldn't pick out a male and a female.
There's nothing to say.
These are females at the moment. The male we can get
Just
like
a
a
big
mallow.
size, yeah.
Nice size, aren't they? Quite
Yeah.
small as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Roast the whole thing.
Once it starts getting colder and they start eating more, then
So generally it's a bird that's roasted whole
yeah.
and served whole
Yeah.
and carved in the restaurant.
Then they go on to the chill, which is like a little miniature version.
They do, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very, very similar.
So you can always tell the once they fired them with a fur like a show, but you can tell a male and a female by the colours, because the male is more predominant colours, and the female ones are more dark. You know,
Really?
yeah, it's like cock pheasant, sort of really bright colours, and the female is very dark. You know, the male wants to attract the female, that's why they've got all the colours.
These all
Lighter
come in with
colours.
the feathers on. You prep them.
No.
They come in like this.
We've got a game larder where we send them down and get them all prepped. We've got our own shoots.
Same for all the birds.
For all
Really,
the
someone
birds, yeah.
shoots everything for you? Just for you?
Well, we buy their moors. You know,
Oh, right.
we contract to buy everything they shoot.
I see.
And
Whereabouts in England they shoot them?
well, Duke of Norfolk, Lady Harry's, all over the place. Norfolk.
Scotland?
Not so much from
No?
Scotland. No.
More East Anglia way.
we find with a grouse, Yorkshire's the best. We find
Really?
it better in Scotland. Yeah.
So you always associate game with Scotland.
Yeah,
It's funny.
but we buy most of our game from like Norfolk, down in Sussex and
Okay.
Yorkshire, which we've got a bloke who works up in Yorkshire, and all he does is every week is go and pick up that grass.
Oh, really?
Because we've got contracted our own moors, we've got our own big fridge up there, and we've got one van going around Yorkshire,
Just getting all your
getting
stuff.
all the grass,
And you take care of sending it down to London.
and then they send
You
it
guys-
down. But it comes down to our game larder.
Smell.
There's always grass is strong smell.
It's really gamey.
Yeah.
God.
This is the only bird that they can't hand drink, grouse,
Why is that?
because it eats all the heifer, like all that
Yeah.
funny coloured stuff. And what turns it that darkness,
Yeah.
and they can't,
Is it really?
can't hand, can't hand
That's what
it.
it's actually feeding on.
That's
yeah,
why.
what makes it this colour, you know.
It's so much darker than everything
Yes.
else.
Why do you put this on? Just because it's not a very
That-
fatty one.
Well, they're not very fat and it helps it cook. That's called larder. It's salty and it helps it cook. Then you go on to the partridge. You've got what they call the French partridge, which is a red leg, which is a lot larger. And then you've got the wild grey leg, and then you've got what they call the hand-reared one. You can see the difference. You can see the difference in the colour.
Well,
This is a wild one because that's being natural and that's like fed.
It's fed.
But they're larger birds. If restaurants like them all uniform, want them all the same size, they go for these because they are basically all the same
is
size.
there a price difference here? Much?
The wild ones are dearer,
Yeah.
you know, because they're not so, you know, you can't get as many.
Roast pheasant with creamed cabbage. The dish reminds me very similar to Pierre's pied de cochon. And when I first came back from France, one of the first dishes I'd done, in fact, in this kitchen, which is no longer Pierre's, as you know, thank God, is the creamed cabbage garnish. And I just thought it would go wonderful with the pheasant. The pheasant's going to be beautifully roasted, nicely seasoned. We've taken the legs off, as you can probably gather that, because they've been shot away. And as you know, shooting pheasants properly, you just clip the wings in order to let the bird fall. Unfortunately, this particular bird was shot in the leg, and so we can't really cook with a blown up leg. Otherwise, you'd be pulling out little bits of shot every 30 seconds. It's not that pleasant. Beautifully seasoned. We're going to roast half butter, half oil, again, to get this wonderful golden brown colour. When we first start sealing any form of bird, whether it's teal, partridge, pheasant, pigeon, we call it, we bum it. And that sounds quite an interesting term, but in the kitchen you bum the pheasant first. And by meaning that is its bum, literally its bum, gets placed into the pan. And that's how, you bum a pheasant. An old terminology which a very good friend of mine, very talented chef, Simon Hopkinson, first used at the Bevendum. Bum a pheasant. So, in order to get it nice and golden brown, we place some butter inside, and we continue sealing it on its bum. And then once it's beautifully coloured, a bit more, turn up the gas. We're going to lay the bird on its side. One thing we have to be very, very careful cooking pheasants, of course, is the fact that we must ensure it comes out undercooked, because there's nothing worse than a very dry, insipid pheasant breast. So once it's sealed on its bum, turn it over on its side. Don't burn the butter. Keep the butter nice and golden brown. And keep all this wonderful fresh butter inside to create this wonderful mousse, because it's the mousse that actually gives it its colour and stops the butter from burning. Beautifully coloured there. Back on its side. Don't be scared sometimes just to baste the breast. Like so. Okay, now it's nicely evenly coloured. Back on its bum, and then just leant against the side of the pan, and just fill the inside of the carcass with this wonderful mousse, so it transfers down throughout, and it actually gets to cook the inside of the breast, which is closest to the bone, like so. And then in the oven for about 3 or 4 minutes on its bum again. Fresh butter in before, just to cool it down a touch so the butter doesn't come out black. And then into a medium to hot oven, about 3 or 4 minutes. You make sure it's cooking on its bum. The bum, of course, is the thickest part of the pheasant, and it's going to take the longest to cook, and that's why the whole process is cooked on its bum. The garnish for the roasted pheasant is cream cabbage, and I really mean cream cabbage, but there's a slight difference to this particular cream cabbage because we've actually blanched it very, very quickly in boiling water to retain the colour, to extract the water from that and to make it this really nice, soft, pliable cabbage. The nice thing about this particular dish is we're going to start it off with a touch of smoked bacon. I put the smoked bacon and the butter together, prevent it from actually burning, and the fat coming out of the bacon will stop it from going black. Just straight in to the pan with your lardons. The nice thing about the lardons is to get them nice and crispy. It's going to have this really nice smoked flavour inside. And you can start cooking on a really nice hot heat. The butter's in there, and the fat from the lardons is coming out, and it smells already wonderful. Bit of colour on there. Inside the cabbage, we're going to have the bacon lardons, some very rustic battens of carrot, and some celeriac. That's going to be brought together with some cream, let down with a touch of chicken stock, and this is the really nice, comfortable, luxurious, braised, creamy cabbage. And of course, this flavour of bacon running throughout. As you know, pheasant and bacon go extremely well, and it's just so simple. For large parties, it's brilliant. Okay, nicely coloured. Next, we're going to put the carrots in. Just spin around. Don't get too much colour on that. Turn down the heat. Next, the celeriac. Again, be careful of the seasoning because of the content of salt inside the smoked bacon. Touch more butter. Glaze all the vegetables beautifully. And then, of course, this wonderful fine shredded cabbage, which has been blanched for 10 seconds in boiling water, just sprinkled very loosely on top of your garnish. Just turn that down. Mix the cabbage and the lardons together. Now, because of the content of water inside that cabbage, is going to really create the seasoning. And then whilst we've still retained the heat in the pan, we're just going to bring this together now, finally with our cream. It smells absolutely delicious. Touch of cream, go around the side of the pan just to deglaze. This is just normal single cream, and just bring this all together in a pan with a really nice creamy texture. Layer it out at the bottom so it can absorb all that cream, and it can just come together nicely to this wonderful, nice, thick, creamy cabbage with garnish of carrots, celeriac and bacon. Just leave that on the side for 2-3 minutes to absorb all that cream, to come together, and then we're going to take the pheasant's breast from the carcass, lay that on top of the cabbage, and just finish with a very, very simple pheasant sauce. Pheasant's rested now for about 4 or 5 minutes. The cream has absorbed all that beautiful cabbage. The flavour of the bacon is wonderful. It really is a very nice combination. The bacon, the rusticness of the carrots, the celeriac. Pheasant, as you know, is very delicate and very difficult to cook. It's better served undercooked than overcooked. And if it's just pink in the middle, don't worry about that, because it's nothing worse when it's overcooked and somewhat dry and very, very stringy. The bird, just feel for its breastbone here. I'm sure all those males will have no problem feeling for that centre breastbone. I've never had any problem. Thumb on top there like that, and then just nice and carefully slice down the side through to the wishbone, and just very carefully nick it through. I'm sort of very anti taking out the breastbone before we roast birds as delicate as this, because we start to rip the flesh. It starts to come away from the bone. Of course, the cooking process, the cuisson is not as exact as it should be. Leave the bloody bone on there, slice through it, after it, then take it out. It's a lot easier. So, very carefully, just remove the breast from the carcass, slicing all the way down, through the breastbone, and then just nick off through there. Then come back, looking for this little breastbone. Trim up your pheasant with a little bit of gristle on the outside. As you can see, it's beautifully pink. It's nice and hot. We're just trimming around the outside. I prefer to leave the skin on because once the skin's nice and crispy, it's edible. It's wonderful. It's when the skin is very soggy and somewhat insipid. The nice thing about this particular garnish, if you're having a large party at home, 10 or 12 of you at home, this garnish can be done up for 15 or 20. It's wonderful. They'll always eat lots more. Put it in a lovely chafon dish, slice your breast, back in the oven 2 or 3 minutes, and then serve. Today, we're just going to put this in to the centre of our cutter. And don't worry about it looking so rough because it's the flavours we want to concentrate on. And we're just putting that into the centre there, just as a guideline. Make sure you've got all those carrots, the bacon and celeriac, and stack it quite high because there's no other garnish, there's no other braised vegetables. This is the garnish, and just be generous on the vegetables. Very carefully lift your breast up. I don't like to slice all the way through. I'm just going to slice the surface of the pheasant, as you'll see in a minute, because I'm just going to hang or place this breast over the cabbage, and it's really hot. It's nice and pink. Cut her off. Just place this wonderful breast and this little fillet over the cabbage, and then finally just glaze with a wonderful light pheasant sauce. And here we have our pheasant breast with some wonderful delicious creamy cabbage. Now, don't be scared about the cream coming out into the sauce because the garnish is the cream cabbage. And a lot of restaurateurs will say, oh God, look at that sauce. But no, use it. Don't worry about the cream coming in the sauce. It gives this wonderful, nice velvet texture sauce and just stays away from these really horrible, rich, over-reduced veal jus. Finally, just to finish it, in order to contrast with that bacon inside the cabbage, we've got some wonderful dried lardons of bacon, which we're just going to place on top of the pheasant, the cabbage, and they're wonderful thin slices of Ventrèche bacon that have been laid on a tray, cooked in the oven for about 7 or 8 minutes, and then left to dry, and it gives this wonderful, nice, crispy flavour to combine with the lovely skin and the creamy cabbage.